Hi guys, this is Melanie with Yoga with Melonie. I'm going to start another series that isn't yoga related. It is about sustainability and sovereignty, two of my most favorite subjects next to yoga. So I thought I would start with a presentation, a showing of my property and what I've done in the city to be sustainable, taking my 9,000 square foot lot and chalking it full of food and other sustainability ideas. So here we go. Here is the front of the property where we have the walkway of the sidewalk. And I have put a lot of plants, of course, here as well, where we've got a medlar tree. That is a yummy fruit that tastes kind of like spiced applesauce, and a bunch of decoratives and plants that will serve, excuse me while I'm learning how to use my gimbal here, they'll serve for nitrogen fixing into the soil. And we've got a pineapple guava. And then we've got, if you're able to see these, again, so many plants here. Get my gimbal correct here. And a cherry tree at the end. And then if we pan to the property, you may or may not be able to see, the front yard has been taken out. There is no grass in the front yard. I made the front yard bark chips and plants. There is about 60% edible fruits and foods in the front yard. And there are about, 80, 85-ish plants in the backyard that are edible. So this is the front yard. So I've got apple tree, gooseberries. I got a big strawberry patch tiered system over here. A few little decoratives, just for fun. Bush cherries are hidden in here. And boy, it's to get me get used to with this gimbal here, guys. You guys are my first exploration into this. I'll figure it out eventually. There'll be more videos to come. So we got josta berries, huckleberries, lingonberries, barberries, bush cherries. I think I already said that. Whortleberries. Yes, every type of berry you can imagine. Raspberries and rhubarb. So many things. You can fit in a very small space. If you have a property and it's got a front yard and a backyard, you'd be surprised what you could grow. And you could eat year round. Here, I had a huge amount of my driveway that wasn't being used for anything. So I put some stock tanks in and I've made those into raised beds. I've also got some of those planter baskets, the bags, the grower bags, and those have got some strawberries in there. You can see my shadow on here. Yes, in my stock tanks right now, I have dandelion greens growing. This year, the vegetables didn't grow so much. This is a mulberry tree planted in a pot, and I've got a locust tree. I can't remember what the tree is back in the back corner there. It's supposed to bear fruit one day. So yeah, the vegetables this year didn't do too great. Hoping for a fall crop that I can plant. I planted 3 times this year and half the seeds came up. Here we've got the greenhouse with some rain barrels attached to it. See if I can get a better view of that. There it is. And then some more grower bags. This I planted sweet potatoes. This is my first year with those. I'm not sure that those are going to work out in our climate here. In the back there, you can see the composter. It's just one of the composters. I'll do another video on the different ways that I compost on the property. And then we'll enter into the backyard. So here we have my little work shed where I do the yoga classes and body work. And then we enter into the backyard. So again, there are about 85% edible and 20 or so percent decorative or plants that feed the other plants. So I've got some potted herbs. I like to keep my mint in pots and the sage in pots as they tend to spread everywhere. I got these lovely columnar apples that I put in pots, and a big bay tree that I put in a pot. And let's see, as we go into the backyard, there is the garden beds. Let's see if I can get a better picture here for you. So that's where the veggies go. And again, this year it's August in the Pacific Northwest. They're not looking so great. I'm pretty disappointed by the veggie garden this year, but again, I'm going to try to plant for a fall crop and see if I get some winter foods. And here's a hedge that I planted of some gomies, honeyberries, apples. This year the apples have got that codling moth. I got to deal with that next year. And we got some currants along the back and some blueberries and a fig tree, a couple cherry trees, got a pear tree. By the patio, there's an herb bed. And then I've got persimmon and aronia berries in this little cluster over here. And then in the back here, you're seeing this other little building. This is going to be the quail coop. It's still a work in progress, but I'll do a whole separate video on quail and my raising of the quail. Behind the patio, I have raspberries. There's not much space back there, but there's enough to walk through and enough to have raspberries. So I have the raspberries and the grapes back there. And then I've got another potted columnar. I kind of love those. There's a bunch of those. And in the very, very back corner, there's some elderberry bushes, but they're so small. They just came up this year and they haven't had a chance to get big and wild yet. But this is a 9,000 square foot lot, and I've eaten fruit this year since May, and I will probably be eating fruit all the way through straight until the apples and the pears are done, and that might be around October or so. And the vegetables, again, we can grow year-round here, so I can find plants to plant in the spring, the summer, and the fall. You could eat year-round. And I can make enough vegetables and fruits that I wouldn't have to buy those at a grocery store. So I hope you enjoyed this little video tour. I'm going to do some other videos on my composting and problems that I have with things like the codling moth and other issues, and see if I can get those solved. And then we'll talk about the quail coop at a later date too. So if there's other videos you'd like to see what I'm doing here on the property, you can see my little mason bee hut up there, the composting, quails, mason bees. Oh, I got water catchment coming, solar panels coming. So yes, there's a lot to talk about, a lot to share, and all can happen in the city in a small space. And I hope everybody does something like this. We would have not as many food issues if we did. So enjoy and be well. I'll see you soon.